Joining us today on this special segment of CNBC-TV18's Future Female Forward, we have with us Aparajita Jain, the co-director of Nature Morte. She has launched India's first public sculpture park in Jaipur. Hi Aparajita, how are you doing? Welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you very much for having me here. I am very excited about this, and yes, we're also very excited about all the different endeavors that we do.
Definitely. I'd like to start by asking you, tell us about how your first steps of, delving into the art scene.
Well, that really winds me back a long time, and therefore it tells people how old I am. But many moons ago, I was actually just really bored, uninspired, and I wanted to do something impactful with my life, to recognize that I could do something.
Okay. When did that realization occur? How rather?
It occurred after my daughter was born.
Okay.
And I realized that the cycle of expecting that the next generation will have what they want at the cost of us has to stop somewhere.
That's true.
And so I said, okay, I really must at least know what my dreams are and begin to understand it. Maybe I'll fail, but it wasn't because I didn't try.
Can you tell us about some pivotal moments?
A pivotal moment was when we were asked to do something about public art in India, and we were given an opportunity. And that was pivotal because all three times it made me realize that options and opportunities exist. It's my own barrier.
Right.
I have to really think that I can, and things will happen. Absolutely. And the truth is, things happen and people garner, and if something is larger than one's own self, many more people are interested in making it happen than just you.
Absolutely. Can you tell us about the challenges you faced during that time?
Oh gosh, there's so many challenges. I think at a domestic home level, the challenge is raising a family and working, and all the guilt that comes around raising a family and not being there for, like we were speaking earlier, PTMs and school pickups, and not being a helicopter mother, which is the aspiration nowadays.
Right.
And missing out on certain things, and having to plan trips for work, and also for explaining to people around you that it's not a hobby.
Yeah.
That women's role at work is not, it's your hobby.
Yeah.
It's something we're really passionate about and something that we want to make a difference at. And so those, earlier on, it took me a really long time to accept my ambition. And I think even now, the most fulfilling is that of being a mother.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I don't have more to give, or that I want to experience more. And what's amazing is the quality of conversations that I have with my children today is that they demand more of themselves, and I hope that my son will support and inspire his partner.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
To do more.
Yeah.
My daughter for sure wants to, but the change has to begin somewhere.
Yeah. Even talking about motherhood, back then it was a lot harder as it is now. It still is. I'm not going to deny that it's not eased down. But back then it was a complete different ball game. How did you manage to break the stereotypes back then?
Some days were very hard. Some days were easier. I do have an amazing ecosystem that supports me. I have amazing families on both sides that have supported me continuously. There were days that they wish that I was more present, and I recognize that. But I did the best I could.
Right.
To say yes to something, you've got to say no to many things.
Absolutely. And then there comes even societal pressures along with it. So
you have to choose what you're going to say no to, and what are the consequences that you're going to have to bear and that you're going to accept to bear. It's okay, you have to accept that. But on the other hand, now, 18, 19 years into my career, I'm really glad I made those choices, and I would repeat them all over again. The only difference is I would tell myself to not feel so guilty while making those decisions.
Talking about, the public sculpture park.
Yeah.
It's India's first public sculpture park.
So it's not India's first public sculpture park, but it is India's first international contemporary sculpture park.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason why there's, we're differentiating it is because it's very important, at least for me and Peter, that we support the infrastructure and the ecosystem of the arts.
Right.
I understand it's 1.4 billion people in a very large country and it's only one, but at least we began somewhere. And here it was, it's a PPP model with the government. So the palace.
Yeah, can you share, like, tell us some more? It's very exciting, and yeah.
So the amazing thing that the government did was to allow heritage sites to be, in some cases, adopted by private enterprise. In this case, worked with a private enterprise, and CSR money can be used here to engage with the palace,
right,
and you know, showcase art. The thing is that they do get more visitors because of this, because there's something new and interesting. And what you're also doing is, so international visitors love to come to something like this. Even the local ones that are aware, art aware, or interested in a different experience like to come. But what's been most interesting is the locals that have been coming. So Jaipur attracts a lot of local tourism as well. So people from surrounding towns, villages, students, all come there. And there, I say this on repeat because I'm always fascinated by how many people engage with it in a very interesting and curious way. They want to know more.
Yeah,
it's
curiosity
not like,
is there. Yes.
There's huge curiosity, there's a deep desire for learning, and there's deep respect for it. Of course, we have a full share of real monkeys and other kinds of people who are not respectful, but you know that exists everywhere.
That's true.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
So we I think this PPP model is huge, amazing, especially for the arts. I wish it can be extended to more things.
What all does it have in store, if you can give us a little gist?
The park itself?
Yes.
So, you know, this is our, I think, 4th edition of, so we have every year, it's open for a year, and we have one set of artists for the year, and then we change the artists, like I said. So this year we have Alisha Quade, who's a very, very important international German-Polish artist. You know, her works have been at the rooftop of the Met. She just recently opened at Storm King. She's been at a lot of places, and here she is. She was definitive. She wanted to produce the work in India.
Okay.
So she has very vast, like large engineering teams that worked, and they worked at skill building in India, and they used local stone, local craft, and that is what was very, very exciting, because we had skill building happening while this amazing sculpture is at the courtyard.
Right.
And when you go and see it, you're like, she never came till the installation to produce this entire thing.
Oh wow.
What feat of engineering does that take?
Yeah.
So we had, you know, we have different kinds of people. People think art is just something that somebody does on their own, but this had, like I said, you know, stability, and like people who can test for stability, wind, earthquake. I mean, you name it, and we had those people in production. Part production were done in large corporate, you know, factories, and part were done in small little units, local units. But the beautiful thing is to see the upgrade in the small units after this. So I really do believe that art has a very, very important part to play in helping local communities to grow bigger.
Like a message that you would want to give young women who are entering into the art scene.
So first of all, I'd beg them to stay in the art scene and not feel demotivated and exit. We need everyone. We need every single one. And I think the, you know, there's women at different levels, right? So there's women from rural India who know their skills. And I wish that they could meet them. I know there are lots of non-profits that exist in the country to help skill build and to add design value to them. Then there is arts, so studying arts, learning what they can from the internet, because you know knowledge now is pretty much for free.
Right.
You can access information. I understand language can be a barrier, but I would first say be tenacious and stay on. Be relentless. And if
that's important.
Yeah, and if it's taking a bit of time, figure a parallel, like, you know, figure a way of earning money till you can really prove your authenticity there. So
Wow.
please stay there. Don't leave.
Absolutely. And you know, before I let you go, I would also like to ask you, what legacy do you hope to leave behind as a woman leader and visionary in shaping the cultural landscape of India?
Wow. That's a very intense, large, loaded question. I don't see myself as somebody who I'm not looking at that.
All right.
The first thing I'm looking at is how do we impact our first what we can control, right? So like we're a 80% women-led team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's the first thing I wanted to do is employ more women and like really mentor and support them to grow. We don't have enough data.
Right.
First is to build data, which we're hoping the government will help us with. And then it is to help give them skills or to enhance their skills. They have skills.
Right.
We need to enhance them.
That's true.
And to get them to get online faster so that they can be discovered.
Great. I think we've pretty much got all our answers. It was a very insightful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
HSBC presents CNBC-TV18's Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective, powered by Parity, Season 2.